My mother, she was a handful, just like about probably everyone's mother. She lived till the age of 97 and worked until she was 95. She was a musician, a classical pianist. But when we came to the US, first she got a job at the New York City Ballet. And when my father died and we moved to Miami, I got her a job at the Miami City Ballet. I guess all that makes me proud of my mother. I don't know if I talked in my previous posts, but my parents were affected greatly by the Second World War. My father, at this age of 17, volunteered to Soviet army to fight Nazi Germany and was thrown into Battle of Stalingrad. And my mother was a Holocaust survivor. She was Jewish. So they went through a lot. And as much as I would like to blame my parents for not being perfect parents, because of what they went through, they did the best they could. I would like to talk about my mother's later years. When my father died and we moved to Miami, I had to take care of her. And it wasn't easy. Sometimes I think I should have been living with her and be a caretaker, but my mother and I didn't get along, as sad as it sounds. She always wanted me to be someone else than what I became. She supported my artistic endeavors. And I remember at some point in my life when I discovered I wanted to be an artist, and my acting career from the Soviet Union didn't happen in the United States. I went to Paris. When I went to Paris, she supported me. When I came back from Paris, she bought a summer house in Long Island, New York, a bungalow where I stayed all year around. I built a coal burning stove, collected rainwater, and painted and painted and painted. This is when my addiction to drugs and alcohol soared. After painting all day, I went to the bar, local bar, and just drank all night. Then painted the whole day, drank all night, like a real artist, you know. But anyway, back to my mother. I never made any money in my life because I pursued the artistic route. Couldn't sell any of my paintings. Then I became a photographer. She supported that, and I never made money, just broke even. Anyway, when she got older, she still worked at Miami City Ballet till the age of 95. And I remember when she was like 93, I went to ballet's office to talk to the director of the ballet to hire her for another season. And the director of the ballet tried to tell me that she's a bit old for this job. She's 93. And I told the director, kind of jokingly, kind of seriously, I said that you realize that this job is keeping my mother alive. So if you fire her and she dies, the blood is going to be on your hands. I smiled, kind of like as a joke, but the director said, "Oh my," and hired her for another season. It was an interesting story the way she got hired. When we came to Miami, I put her into assisted living. I figure, okay, she's like, at that time, she was 87 years old, something like that, 86. She immediately started getting depressed. I didn't realize why. Place looked okay. But now, with my surgery and everything, I had a little taste of the nursing home. And yeah, I see what it's like. For the outsider, it might not be visible, but once you're in there, the whole vibe is extremely depressing. So I said, "Mother, I'm going to get you a job." And I called Miami City Ballet and I said, "My mother is a pianist. She worked for the School of American Ballet in New York. Would you like to see her?" They said, "Sure." My mother didn't have resume, nothing, no recommendations. So she went in. The teacher who was supposed to interview her, she said, "Frida, you don't remember me?" Apparently, my mother played this teacher ballet classes when the teacher was like 8 or 9 years old in New York. She remembered my mother really well. So my mother got hired on the spot. She didn't even have to play. She is like, "Yes, we would be so happy to have you. This is unbelievable." So she got the job. She was highly respected there. Once she got hit by a car right outside the ballet when she was like 91 or 92. Ambulance came. We were going to take her to the hospital and she said, "No, I have a class to play." And she went to play the class. And that rumor went all around, all over the ballet, what she did, how dedicated she was to that job. But then she was getting older. She was getting more agitated, irritated, and it would be extremely draining to visit her. She lived by herself in Sunny Isles, Russian community. I think once I was outside of Home Depot and it was 27 calls that I saw on my call log that she did because I went for, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes to pick up some stuff. And, it's like there's a joke if your dog had a cell phone and could call you. How many times your dog would call you, when you leave the house for 5 minutes. So she was like that. And once I was scraping the bottom of the boat, and for like a half hour, when I got back on the boat, I saw something like 15 calls, missed calls. I called her back, extremely annoyed. I said, "Is there an emergency?" She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm scraping the bottom of my boat." She said, "You went to a dentist?" I said, "Yeah," because I didn't want to go into that. You're not understanding. At some point, she had a stroke. It was pandemic. I couldn't visit her. And they released her in the hospice. And that's when they said I could visit her. She was unconscious. I was there for 3 days and 2 nights. One morning, they woke me up at 7 a.m. It was a day after my birthday, July 11th. And they said, "Looks like your mother is taking her last breath." I went, I sat down next to her. I held her hand. Didn't look like she was breathing. The nurse, I guess, checked her pulse, pronounced that she was dead, and that was that. Weeks after that, if not months, I was kind of hoping that I would get maybe one of those annoyed phone calls from her.